Former U.S. President and 2024 presidential hopeful Donald Trump is today facing more than 30 criminal charges in court. At the centre of it all, accusations that he paid hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels. But details of the charges will only be made public during today's arraignment. Let's get the very latest from our correspondent in New York, William Denselow. William, hello to you. So lots of crowds already gathering in support of Donald Trump. Of course, he touched down yesterday. Talk to me about what those people are saying and what's been happening so far today.
Yeah, Sally, this protest was expected it was organised in part with support of groups like the Young New York Republicans group, as well as support from some Republican lawmakers, including the Georgia Congresswoman and firebrand Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, been about a couple of hundred or so supporters of the former US President Donald Trump outside the courthouse. They've been met with a couple of hundred critics and opponents of Donald Trump. They've lined out either side of a square, a small park just outside the courthouse behind me. They're separated by a thin barricade marshalled by police. They've been chanting slogans at one another over the last couple of hours. I've been speaking to a few of those on both sides of that quite literal divide. Some supporters for Donald Trump very much reiterating points that have been made by the former president, saying that the justice system has become weaponized by Democrats. It's all an effort based on trumped-up charges to try and derail Donald Trump's bid for the White House in 2024. Speaking to some opponents, they said some said it was important to come out, especially in light of what happened in January 6th, 2020, in the light of the insurrection in the US Capitol. Also, some saying that they're out simply because they hate Donald Trump. So, as you might expect, incredibly polarised scenes as we await for the arrival of Donald Trump.
And Trump has been speaking this morning, I understand, as well.
That is absolutely right. Of course, we heard just moments after the indictment was announced last week. He said that it was politicisation and that the justice system has been used against him. He's very much been reiterating that tune ahead of his arraignment, taking to Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media platform. He said the radical left had criminalised the justice system. He also railed against the venue. We're in Lower Manhattan. It is a part of New York State that leans heavily Democrat. He said he'd rather move this case to Staten Island, which is one of the 5 boroughs of New York and is the borough that leans most aggressively towards Republicans in what is a state that is heavily blue for Democrats. And we've also heard a little bit from Joe Tacopina, one of Donald Trump's legal representatives, giving some more details about what we might expect from this arraignment. He said that it's going to be relatively normal. Of course, that with a major caveat, considering there is nothing normal about this arraignment. Totally unprecedented, of course, but he said that it could last anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. And he says he is expecting the former president to have his fingerprints taken. Still unclear, though, whether he'll have his mugshot, though.
Once he's charged, and we know we're going to get full details of the charges only once they're read out to him, what happens after this appearance today?
Well, essentially, Sally, there will not need to be any kind of conversation regarding bail because of the nature of these charges or suspected charges against Donald Trump. So he'll be free to go. That won't need to be in question. There's no issue of paying a bond or anything to that nature. So that is why Donald Trump has already announced he will be heading straight back to his home in Florida, where he is expected to address his supporters and address the media a little later on Tuesday evening here in the United States. And then, of course, what we do know from Donald Trump's legal team, they say that they fully intend to contest the charges. Of course, Donald Trump is set to plead not guilty to all the charges against him, whatever exactly they might be when they are announced by the judge. But his legal team has said over the past couple of days that they will pour through this indictment, they will dissect it. Once they have done that, then they will make a motion to dismiss those charges. But the message from the legal team is that that won't happen today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that update as we wait for Donald Trump to appear in court in Manhattan in New York. Thank you so much. That's our US correspondent, William Denselow.